Hi guys, so this is section 2, dynamic visibility. So what does that mean, dynamic visibility? Um, it sounds obscure, but the idea is very simple. So there are multiple tabs, and we're selectively showing one tab, okay? One tab panel. So the big idea here is we have tab stat panel in the UI, and in the server we have update tab set panel function. All right. So so that is the big idea. Tab set panel in the UI, and then we have update tab set panel function in the server function. Okay. So so tab set panel function has two arguments. Input ID. So in this case we have switcher. That is a way to refer to the tab set panel, right? This is the tab set panel we want to update. Okay. And inside the tab set panel, we have multiple tab panels. So how do we know which one we want to show? That's where this second argument selected comes in. So the selected uh, is determined by this other input function, select input function. Input ID is controller, right? Whatever the user chooses here is the one that is going to show, right? So input controller, that is what that tells the tab set panel which tab panel we want to show. Okay. Again, switcher input ID in the update tab set panel is a way to refer to which tab set panel we want to update. And the second argument selected here is a way to choose which of the tab set panels we want to show. All right, let's do it. Okay, so let's create the file. So this is 2.0, section 2.0. Select all, Shiny app, show me the boilerplate code. There you go. Now we have, so select the input function, and then on the main panel, we have a tab set panel function. Okay. So, so this is the sidebar layout. So, if you forgot, sidebar layout. Oh, it's not showing me because I didn't load the Shiny package. All right. So I'm going to bring up the documentation, sidebar layout function. Right? So sidebar layout, um, there you go. So there's some examples here, right? So fluid page, title panel, and then sidebar layout. And inside the parentheses, we have sidebar panel, main panel, right? All right. So let's do this. Sidebar layout. And inside we have sidebar panel function, right? And comma, and then main panel function. Do not select main panel equals, right? Okay, so sidebar panel, we have this select input function. So the input ID, controller, show for the label, the choices, we have panel 1, 2, 3 using paste function here. All right, so we have select input for input ID controller, controlling the tab panel, right? And then show this tab panel. And then choices using paste function, um, uppercase or lowercase p, lowercase panel, and then 1:3, right? 1:3. So if you are not sure what this does, execute this, control enter. There you go. This creates a vector of panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, right? So those are the choices here. All right. So if you run this app, right? So here we have sidebar panel for inputs. So we have a select input function, 1, 2, 3, right? So now we want a tab set panel function here for the output. So for that, tab set panel, right? So again, if you're not, if you have forgotten what how to use this tab set panel function, bring up the documentation, right? So dot dot dot, that is tab panel elements to include in the tab set, and then there's ID selected and so on, right? But for now, I mean, we know we are going to use ID and type, but we're going to start with this tab panel. tab panel. But um, I mean, in the textbook example, he used tab panel body, but tab panel body instead of tab panel. That's not really that important uh, to make a point in this lesson, because here we want to show a simple example of dynamic visibility, right? So either one is fine, tab panel or tab panel body. Okay. So in here, tab set panel, here's an example. Tab set panel, and then inside tab panel, tab panel, tab panel, right? So um, we can have tab panel, right? And then you can see there's a title, value, and so on. So if you want to know more about tab panel, there is a link, right? So tab panel, there's a title, value, and so on. Okay. So for tab panel, what do we want? So panel one. So if it's tab panel body, right? Tab panel body. So we have tab panel body. The first argument is value. So which one, panel one or panel two or panel three? Which one do we want to select? And panel one content, panel two content, those are what's being printed here, right? So that is dot 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 UI element to include within the tab. Okay. So that is um, so So this here, the value should match the choices here. So exactly same way, panel one, panel two, panel three, all lowercase. Panel one, and if panel one is chosen, then what do we want to print? This dot 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 UI elements. And that will be panel one content, panel one content, and tab panel body, panel two, and panel two content, and then tab panel body, panel three, panel three content, right? So again, let's run and see what happens. All right. So here, so whatever choice we make here in the select input doesn't make any changes, but we know there are three different tabs. Okay, three different tabs, and you see that the content changes, right? Panel two content, panel three content, right? So now what we want to do is when the user selects panel one, two, three in the select input function here, we want to show only one tab, whether it's panel one or panel two, panel three. All right. So for that, we're gonna use update tab set panel function. Okay. So down here, oh, so down here we want to use update tab set panel function. However, we want to use it in conjunction with observe event, right? Remember that? So here, observe event, and the event is the controller. So don't do anything until the user makes a choice here in the select input, right? So start with observe event, and the event is input controller curly bracket and update. So once the user selects um, panel one, two, or three, update this update tab set panel function, and the first argument is what is it? We want input ID. So input ID is a way to refer to uh, the the input function that we want to update, which is tab set panel, right? However, we did not give an ID for this tab set panel, right? So that's what we want. So here, tab ID. So hit enter. We want to provide an ID. So what do you want to call it? Switcher. Okay. So switcher, and that is what we want to put here. This is the link between the two, right? The other thing is, um, The other argument in update tab set panel function is selected, meaning we have multiple tab panels here. Which do we want to choose, right? And that is determined by this select input function, right? So here we want to put input controller, right? Now, okay, so now we can reload, right? So now when we choose, now it updates, right? So that's all good. It's just that this tab set panel shows all three tab panels, right? We do not want that. And that is when this type argument comes in. So for the type argument, we have three different values. We want hidden, okay? So for type, we want hidden, and then reload, and then all the tabs are hidden now. But we know there are multiple tab panels, but they're just hidden, right? So when we choose uh, different values here in the select input, tab panels update. All right, great. That's it for that section, and I'll see you in the next video.